Before we begin this morning prayer, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. God, I wake up into a day I can't fully predict. I stretch my arms not knowing what they will need to carry. I sit here with my heart still tangled in sleep and the thoughts of yesterday, unsure what I'll face, unsure how much of me will be needed to get through it. But this one thing I know, I don't want to walk ahead of you. Not this time. Not anymore. I've tried leading my life from the front as if I knew where I was going. I've built plans like towers, drawn maps on sand, chased control like a shield I could grip tightly enough to stop anything bad from happening. But I am tired of pretending I know the road. I am tired of pretending I have to. I don't want control today. I want clarity, not of the full picture, but of the one who goes before me, the one who already knows where I'll trip, the one who walks into rooms before I enter, the one who sees the detour before I even sense the delay. God, go before me into this day. Go into the hallway conversation I'm nervous about. Go into the silence of the moments when I feel alone. Go into the tension I carry around decisions I still haven't made. Go into my unread messages and unknown responsibilities. Walk ahead of me into the places I'm still afraid to visit, not with power that pushes or commands, but with presence that prepares the way. I don't want to beg you to catch up with my steps. I want to slow down enough to find where you already are. If I must wait, let it be because you're doing something ahead of me that I can't see yet. If I must speak, let it be with words you've already softened in someone else's heart. If I must act, let it be with feet that follow, not lead. Because I've led myself into anxiety more times than I can count. I've stepped into plans that felt brilliant until they crumbled. I've thrown myself into people and places that looked like answers, but ended up being exits. But you've never misled me. Even when I didn't understand, even when the road turned away from where I thought I was going, even when I cried out for you and didn't hear anything back, you were still ahead of me, preparing what I needed. God, go before me into this day, not as a distant echo, not as a force I have to chase, but as a gentle guide I can trust. I don't need you to shout directions. I need to know you're present. I need to sense that I'm not walking into anything alone, that when I arrive at the hard conversation, you're already sitting there, that when I reach the challenge, you've already held it in your hands, that when I step into unknowns, you've already walked their edges and carved safe paths for me inside them. Help me release what I can't control, and even more than that, help me stop trying to betodostonai. I don't want to live like the weight of the world is mine to lift. I don't want to carry the pressure of making everything right, knowing everything now, fixing everything instantly. What peace there is in remembering you are not behind me, pushing, you are ahead of me, inviting. And if you are there, then I can walk slower, I can walk lighter, I can walk steadier. Let me follow you into this day with open hands. Not clenched fists, ready to fight for outcomes. Not shaky fingers trying to rearrange what I don't understand. Just open hands, willing to be led, willing to receive, willing to wait. Lead me not where the world expects me to go, but where peace will meet me. Lead me into conversations that matter, not just noise that fills my hours. Lead me into pauses that restore, not just productivity that exhausts. Lead me into holy moments I didn't plan for, but you did. Ones where I'll find out you were there all along, waiting for me to notice. You don't promise a perfect day. You promise your presence. And maybe that's the only map I need. Not a list of what will happen, but a growing awareness who is already there. So walk ahead of me, God, and when I feel the urge to run ahead or fall behind, bring me back to this place where I trust that you are my pace, you are my anchor, You are the still voice in the chaos. You are the fire by night and the cloud by day, not always visible, but always guiding. Let this be the rhythm of my day, to pause and remember you go before me. In every email, in every sigh, in every yes or no, in every unexpected turn, let me learn to look for you, not just in the big outcomes, but in the small nudges, in the gentle sense that I am not alone. You are already there. If I could see the whole day from where I stand now, I wonder if I'd still choose to move forward. Maybe I'd hesitate at the weight. Maybe I'd try to rewrite around the conflict, or the exhaustion, or the emotional tug of war I don't feel ready for. Maybe I'd freeze in place, paralyzed by too many paths and too little peace. But that's why I don't need a preview. I don't need a prophecy. I need a shepherd. I need to trust that you, God, go before me, not as a far-off vision I'll never reach, but as a present, active hand that clears the road as I walk it. You step through shadows before I arrive at their edge. You bend close to the ground and sweep away the stones that would cut me. You soften the hearts of those I'll encounter. You arrange conversations I didn't plan. You set up moments of quiet I didn't think I could find. You guide my distractions back toward attention, not with punishment, but with patience. And when I try to take over again, because I will, when I move too fast and think I know better, when I react instead of wait, when I grasp at solutions instead of listening for your whisper, teach me how to return, not with shame, but with surrender, with a heart that remembers. I don't walk best when I lead. I walk best when I try. This morning, I confess the parts of me that still want control, the part of me that makes backup plans for your promises, the part that prays but then hoards the pressure anyway, the part that says, "Thy will be done," but silently prepares to rescue myself if your timing takes too long. You know this heart, God. You've seen it grasp for steering wheels, for calendars, for clean answers that make faith unnecessary. And yet you don't shame me for it. You stay. You invite. You keep walking slowly ahead, waiting for me to catch up in trust, not in speed. Let this be the way I walk with you today. Not as someone trying to outperform grace, but as someone resting in it. If the task is bigger than me, I want to believe you're already there, leveling the ground. If the decision is complicated, I want to believe you've already lit up the path I'll need to take. If the emotions are messy and the people unpredictable, I want to believe you've already poured compassion into me before I even knew I'd need it. Go before me into the words I'll choose, into the ways I'll respond when my patience is tested, into the moments when I'll want to withdraw, to shut down, to disconnect, and show me that you've already placed anchors there to hold me in love. Go before me into my insecurities, those silent places where I still believe I'm not enough, not capable, not prepared, not lovable unless I'm achieving, not worthy unless I'm useful. You see those beliefs before they rise, and you counter them with truth before I can even name the lies. You walk into the caves I still hide inside and fill them with light, not to expose me for punishment, but to gently say, "Come, I've already made a way out." And go before me into my gifts too. Into the good I will give today, even if I don't notice it. Into the kindness I'll share, even when I feel empty. Into the encouragement I'll speak without rehearsing it. Into the courage I'll show even while I'm afraid. Don't just go before my pain, go before my purpose. Bless it, multiply it, use it in ways I may never fully see. Because sometimes obedience doesn't look like grand acts, but like small trust-filled steps behind a God who moves ahead in love. And in those steps, make me aware of how you lead. Not with coercion, not with guilt, but with mercy that goes ahead like morning dew, quiet, faithful, enough. Help me notice the hints of you scattered through my morning, the timing of a pause, the softness of a stranger's words, the nudge in my spirit not to speak too soon. You're not shouting through a megaphone. You're moving ahead in whispers, and I want to learn how to follow that sound, how to recognize the tone of heaven in a world so full of noise. So today, God, don't let me chase control. Let me chase you. Let me stop looking for guarantees and instead look for your presence. Let me stop trying to avoid all pain and instead walk into this day knowing you'll be there when it comes. Let me stop fearing the unknown and begin welcoming it, not because I'm brave, but because you are ahead of me. Go before me into my habits, into the way I scroll before I breathe, the way I react before I pray, the way I judge myself before I've even fully awakened. Walk into those reflexes and rearrange them with gentleness. Teach me a new rhythm. Wake, breathe, trust, follow, not strive, grasp, worry, perform. And even if I can't hold that rhythm perfectly, remind me that you are still leading, that you are not a God who demands perfection before you walk with us. You are the God who walked through wildernesses and storms and betrayals and unknowns, not around them, but through them. And you are doing the same today with me, ahead of me. So I will not fear the parts of the day that feel unlit. I will not fear the moments that don't go as planned. I will not fear the people I don't know how to love yet. I will not fear the feelings that rise unexpectedly, because you, God, go before me, and you are not simply preparing a smooth path. You are preparing me to walk with peace, no matter the path. God, there's a difference between having a plan and needing to be in control. I've spent so many mornings not knowing how to tell those two apart. I write lists and label them peace. I draw up timelines and pretend they're trust. I brace myself for every possibility and call it preparation, when in truth, I'm trying to shield myself from surrender. I want to feel safe by knowing what's next, but safety was never meant to come from foresight. It was meant to come from presence, from yours. So today, I want to learn what it means to live, not as the planner, but the follower. Not as the architect of my own security, but as the one who walks behind a steady guide. And that begins not with action, but with attention, with listening for where you're moving. Instead of demanding, you move where I point. God, go before me into the places I'm tempted to control, not just the outcomes of my day, but the pace, the timing, the emotions. I want to control how others respond to me. I want to control how much I feel and when. I want to control how others of all my weaknesses are, how fast I grow, how long it takes before things feel better. But this morning, I hand you the illusion of that control, and I ask instead for the grace to follow you through whatever feels slow, delayed, unfinished. Because if you are ahead of me, then delay is not emptiness, it's preparation. If you are ahead of me, then waiting is not wasted, it's woven. If you are ahead of me, then I don't have to panic when the steps are unclear. The fog doesn't mean you're not present. It just means I have to stay close enough to sense you. Sometimes I picture you, not sprinting ahead, not vanishing around the corner while I run to keep up, but pausing just a few steps in front of me, waiting, watching, letting me catch the rhythm of your steps, inviting me to stop measuring progress and start noticing proximity. Because what if being close to you matters more than getting far? So help me choose proximity over progress today. I don't need to tick all the boxes. I need to walk with you. Go before me into the things I'm still trying to figure out, into the projects that won't resolve, into the conversations that carry too much weight, into the relationships where I'm unsure what to say anymore, into the moments where I might feel invisible or misunderstood or just weary from pretending I'm fine. Go before me into the tension of being present and not yet healed, of being faithful and still confused, of being available to love and still learning how. You are not asking me to master this day. You are asking me to meet you in it. So go ahead, God, blaze trails where I thought I'd be stuck. Build bridges I didn't even know I needed. Redirect me with kindness when I reach for what doesn't serve me. Plant mercy in the path of my mistakes. I don't need to be right at every turn. I just want to be held when I'm not, and let that be enough. When I fear the unknown, remind me that you walk into it first. When I try to micromanage my peace, remind me that you offer a kind of rest that doesn't require all the answers. When I start to spiral into what ifs, gently return me to the right now, this breath, this moment, this invitation to follow. And in the moments when it feels like you're silent, when I can't sense your presence or your plan, help me remember that going before me doesn't always mean you'll be loud. Sometimes it means you're quiet, because the way is already clear. Sometimes it means you're working in places I can't yet see. Sometimes it means you're standing just a little ahead with eyes full of peace, whispering, "This way. Just one more step. Let me take that step, even if it's small, even if it's shaky, even if I don't feel bold or brave or Let me step not in confidence of myself, but in confidence that you are near, you are wise, you are already where I'm going, and because of that, I am not late, I am not lost, I am not behind, I am not too much or not enough. I am exactly where you knew I would be, and you are already using this exact place, this exact moment to draw me forward. God, go before me into my thoughts today, especially the ones I don't say out loud, the ones that quietly shape how I show up, the ones that whisper shame or scarcity or fear. Go ahead of them and rewrite their script. Plant truth in their soil and water it with patience. And go before me into my silence too, the moments I feel I have nothing to say to you. The prayers that feel hollow, the mornings when my soul is too tired to rise with the sun. Meet me even there, before a word forms, before a decision is made, before a single task begins. Be the God who is already in the stillness, preparing peace. God, go before me into this day, into all of it, the planned and the unexpected, the beautiful and the brutal, the celebrated and the overlooked, the loud and the still. God, you who move where I cannot, see what I cannot, and carry what I don't even yet know I'll need help with. I pause again in this early light, not to rush forward, but to let the day begin with surrender. Not a dramatic kind, not an epic scene, just the quiet act of laying down what's not mine to carry. Because every time I try to take ownership of things you never asked me to manage, I find myself exhausted by 9 a.m. I run on adrenaline, on pressure, on assumptions that everything depends on me. But I'm not built to be omniscient. I'm not built to know everything in advance. I'm not meant to walk into a day already carrying the end of it on my back. So I lay down this habit of forecasting pain and labeling it preparation. I lay down this obsession with planning every outcome and calling it responsibility. I lay down the fear that if I don't think ahead for every possible scenario, I'll be caught off guard and unprotected. Because protection isn't found in mental rehearsals, it's found in the presence of the one who goes before me. God, go before me into the feelings I don't yet know I'll feel today. Maybe I'll be tired or overlooked. Maybe I'll feel inspired or fragile. Maybe someone's words will hit me in a way I didn't expect. Maybe I'll feel joy and guilt at the same time. Maybe nothing will be wrong, but I'll still feel like I'm unraveling quietly inside. Don't wait for me to understand it before you show up. Go ahead of me. Place comfort like stepping stones in the path. Fill the empty spaces with reminders I didn't ask for but needed, a stranger's kindness, a moment of beauty, a song I forgot I loved, a breath that comes easy, and go before me into the spaces I wish I could skip, the awkward silences, the news I didn't want, the weight I can't share, the grief I keep thinking I've moved past, but haven't. Enter those rooms before I do, God, and sit there first, warm the air with grace, open windows I would have kept closed. Let nothing catch me by surprise that hasn't first passed through your mercy. I know you don't always remove the hard things, but you shape how I meet them. So let me meet them as one who follows, not one who fights alone. Let me approach each challenge, not as an enemy I must defeat, but as terrain. You've already walked terrain, terrain you've made navigable, even if still difficult. Go before me into my energy today, into my limitedness, into the way I'll need to stop before I'm done, rest before I want to, or admit I can't be everywhere for everyone. Prepare my heart to accept the boundaries you've given me, not as flaws, but as invitations. Let me see them not as failures, but as signposts, directing me back to dependence, to pace, to grace. If you go before me, then even my limitations can be fertile ground for growth, not shame. And if the day moves too fast, God, remind me that I don't have to. If people rush past, let me stay grounded. If my thoughts begin to spin, center me in your steadiness. I don't need to win the day. I just need to stay with you in it. That's success. That's peace. That's where I'll find life. Not in how much I get done, but in how fully I let you guide the doing. Let me feel you walking ahead, not just in the big moments, but in the tiny, ordinary ones too. In the first sip of something warm, in the drive to a place I go every week, in the email I'd rather not answer, in the walk through the same hallway I always take, in the space between tasks, in the moment I look up for no reason and see light filtering in through the curtain, just right. Be there, already, softening the moment with your presence, reminding me that this is holy ground because you stepped on it first. Go before me into my reactions, not just my choices, but the way I interpret what happens around me. You know how quickly I assume rejection, how easily I hear criticism even where none was meant, how often I spiral into conclusions that are untrue but loud. Step into those spaces and rewrite the script. Go ahead of my defensiveness and plant peace. Go ahead of my judgment and sow understanding. Go ahead of my fear and tether it to love. Let me respond, not out of wound, but out of the healing you've already begun. And when I do get it wrong, when I stumble forward and realize I wasn't following you at all, when I look back and see I made a mess of what could have been gentle, let your mercy still go before me, to the ones I heard, to the words I should have said, to the silences that lasted too long. Redeem what I cannot, heal what I mishandled, be the restoration I'm not able to orchestrate. That's what it means for you to lead, not just to guide, but to rescue, not just to prepare the good, but to mend the broken. God, today isn't about making all the right moves. It's about moving behind the right heart. So I step back, I breathe deeper, I loosen my grip, and I say again with more quiet certainty than yesterday, even if still trembling, go before me into this minute, this meeting, this mess, this gift, this ordinary sacredness. God, if I walk behind you today, I won't always understand the route. I won't always like the speed. I won't always see the reason for the delays or the detours or the long stretches of silence where it feels like nothing is happening. But if you are the one going before me, then I can choose to trust even in the uncertainty, not because I enjoy it, but because I believe you waste nothing, not a step, not a second, not a single breath of the journey. So as I take these early steps into the morning, I ask, not for ease, but for alignment. Align my feet with yours so that I don't rush past what you're doing. Align my will with yours so that I don't spend all day resisting where you've already said yes. Align my desires with yours so that I can recognize provision even when it doesn't come wrapped in the packaging I expected. Go before me into the moments I think I have under control. Those are the ones I forget to pray about. The familiar routines, the predictable tasks, the interactions I think I've mastered. But even there, I need you. Especially there, because comfort can make me careless. I begin to rely on muscle memory instead of mercy. I coast through things without asking for wisdom. I move through people instead of loving them. So enter even my certainty. God, go before me into the places I no longer see as holy. Because if you are there, then they can still surprise me with grace. Go before me into my words. Not just the public ones, the polished ones, but the private conversations, the way I speak to the people I'm closest to, the way I talk to myself in the quiet of my own head. Soften the sharp edges before they reach my tongue. Break the rhythm of self-judgment before it forms a sentence. Insert gentleness into my vocabulary before I get too far into autopilot. Let my words not just echo my mood, let them echo your heart. And as I walk into this day, help me notice where you've already been. Not just in theory, but in practice. Show me your fingerprints on the things I would have missed. The smile I needed. The traffic jam that kept me from something I'll never know. The phone call I didn't expect. The moment of quiet you carved in the middle of noise. The idea that came from nowhere. The provision I didn't know to ask for. The strength that showed up when I thought I was done. These are not coincidences. These are the marks of a God who walks ahead. And in the places where I feel alone, not because you're not there, but because I can't feel it, remind me that you're still leading, that even in silence, you are not absent, that even in confusion, you are not chaotic, that even when I stand at a crossroads with no clarity, you are still walking before me, preparing the ground, softening the impact, planting reminders I haven't yet uncovered. If I need to wait, let me wait in faith, not fear. If I need to act, let me move with peace, not panic. If I need to speak, let it be with purpose, not pressure. If I need to be still, let it be in your arms, not in my own doubt. And God, when I do feel like I'm falling behind, when I compare myself to others who seem further along, when I question if I miss something crucial along the way, remind me that you lead me personally, not by crowd, not by trend, not by urgency, but by care. Your pace for me is not their pace, and your path for me is not theirs. So I release the need to keep up with anyone, but let me not run faster than grace can carry me. Let me not pray harder than I can listen. Let me not try to fix what you're still in the process of healing. Let me walk, just walk, behind you. And know that that is enough. Go before me, God, into the good I cannot yet imagine, into the peace that hasn't yet arrived, into the opportunities that don't yet look open, into the conversations that will shift something in me, into the timing that feels off but turns out to be perfect, into the hard things that will somehow birth something holy. And when the day comes to an end, when the light fades and the tasks are unfinished and the conversations didn't go how I wanted and the feelings still haven't settled, let me lay it all down in peace, knowing I never walked it alone. I followed, and that in the eyes of heaven is a good day. God, thank you for going before me.